Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our very first episode of Developer Passport, the Australia release preview. I'm your host for today's episode. I'm Kristy Merriam, developer advocate here at ServiceNow. Where are you guys joining from? I see plenty of chatter in the chat already. I see Czech Republic. I see Sujin pretending to be from Australia. Let's get it going, mate. Nice. I like it. Yeah, welcome everybody. Again, if you are here for the very first time, that's because this is our very first Developer Passport episode. If you're wondering what the heck is this Developer episode or Developer Passport thing you're talking about anyway, this is our new version of what we used to do as the TechNow webinar, where we would basically speedrun all of the really cool developer tools coming out in a release for a particular release cycle. Now we are doing a week full of live streams where we are diving deep into certain features that are for developers. Every day we'll have a new stream. Today is our Playbook stream, and we'll be joined by product managers to talk through those and let you answer questions live. Of course, you can find all of this information, previous streams that are coming up on our community site. Which you can find by going to devlink.sn/Australia or go to community.servicenow.com. And you'll be able to see everything upcoming, anything that you missed to catch up. And you'll also see these live streams playing live directly on the site. So you'll be able to see that right there live. Just to give you a quick preview of what is coming for the week, we do have... Oh, thank you. This is kind of our calendar, our lineup of what it looks like. So today we are doing playbooks. Tomorrow we have Lauren with flows. Wednesday we have a double feature with Earl talking about experiences. Thursday is release ops, and Friday we're wrapping up with studio and build agent. Before we jump into the content, one last thing I want to cover, and then I'm going to turn it over to our amazing PMs who are here with us. It's everybody's favorite, the safe harbor slide. So please, we'll be talking about some future-looking features, perhaps. We just ask that you don't make any purchasing decisions based on those future-looking decisions and future-looking features. So without further ado, I've introduced myself. Now I will turn it over to our esteemed guests, Jason and Taylor, to introduce yourselves. I see Taylor to my left, right? Taylor, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Taylor Burrows. I am a PM actually on Jason's team. I work primarily with Playbooks on the designer side, and so we'll be showing some of that today. Excited to meet all of you. Jason?
Thanks, Taylor. Thanks, Kristy. I'm Jason Lefevre. I am the product lead for our Playbooks capability. We're part of the workflow automation team on the AI platform. So as Taylor said, we're super excited to be here, super excited to showcase some of the awesome innovations that we have available for you coming on the Playbooks side. So I believe we're going to jump right into demos, right, Kristy?
Let's do it. Go to town, Jason. Floor is yours.
So Australia is coming, everybody, and we're going to showcase two incredible features that we're introducing for Playbooks as part of the Australia release. The first thing we're going to show is what's part of every conversation these days, AI. So this feature is taking AI agents and supercharging your business processes by bringing AI agents in as specific steps of your playbook. Not only are we releasing it on Australia, but we actually dropped it in our most recent Zurich store release, so you don't even have to necessarily wait until Australia is around to take advantage of this feature. So did you know that ServiceNow ships about 400 out-of-the-box playbooks? So if you have certain applications that you're using, chances are that the application comes with out-of-the-box playbooks. And so these serve as a starting point for you to implement processes for various ServiceNow use cases. Of course, you're always at liberty to start from scratch, build a playbook for any custom use case you have. But I just wanted to plug that ServiceNow does ship several hundred out-of-the-box playbooks that serve as a starting point for various application use cases. This demo right here is an example of one of our out-of-the-box playbooks. It is for handling and resolving complaint cases. So if you're operating in the customer service space and you have scenarios where you need to respond to complaint cases, here's an out-of-the-box playbook that helps with case intake and resolution. Now, the cool thing that we're showcasing as part of this feature is we now have this awesome step where we're going to inject an AI agent into this process. So let me just show how someone would add a new one of these to their process. You can see here in our activity picker that we have a new category called AI activities, and we have a use an AI agent activity definition. Now, when I choose this, let's pretend I did that and I added this step to my playbook. What I have to do to get this ready for prime time is pick the AI agent that I'm going to use. So once again, ServiceNow application team ship out of the box AI agents built in AI Agent Studio. Likewise, customers can do the same thing. You can build AI agents for various use cases. This simply unlocks the power of AI agents within a business process. So what's going to happen here as we kick off our complaint playbook, there will be a few steps that a human may complete. And then there will be a specific step in our research stage where an AI agent is going to take over. It's going to complete its work and help us accelerate case resolution in a complaint scenario. So we've already pre-filled our reference to the complaint case research plan agent. We can give the agent an objective. In this case, we are pointing to the complaint case record itself. So we want the AI agent to look at information on the complaint case record behind the scenes in AI Agent Studio. This agent has been configured with its set of instructions. So it knows what it's going to do when it looks at this complaint case in runtime. We also have a couple more configuration things that I want to show, and then we'll talk about the runtime experience. So we offer the ability to select the run as strategy. The AI agent needs to run on behalf of a specific user. And so you have a couple of options. You can choose the active user, whoever is currently viewing the playbook, interacting with the playbook in runtime. And then the other option is you can run as the user triggering the playbook. So this allows the AI agent to act on behalf of a couple of different personas, and whatever is right for your use case, you'll be able to choose that. The second thing that I want to call out is outputs. So within workflow automation, we rely heavily on outputs to support dynamic process execution. So as one step completes, that step can provide outputs, and then those outputs can be referenced in subsequent steps of the playbook. So if you want to, for example, have an AI agent draft an email for you and provide the email draft as an output, you could then supply that output as an input to an email activity where a human's going to essentially fine-tune and finalize the AI agent's draft email before they send it to the customer. So here you are able to provide the expected outputs that the AI agent should render as part of its work inside this playbook. So just a little tidbit on how AI agents can be used. Once again, we are referencing AI agents that have been built in AI Agent Studio. You can choose who the AI agent is going to run as. You provide an objective for the AI agent to complete, and then you can also define the outputs that you're expecting for the AI agent so that you can use those outputs in subsequent steps of your playbook. Now, the demo gremlins haven't been kind to me today. I'm going to jump into a pre-recorded demo of our runtime experience, so forgive me for that. Here's my playbook. We have started this by completing a couple of the manual steps. So these are forms. We're essentially defining what the nature of this complaint is. We've got a product quality issue. And so there are a couple steps that the case manager will complete. And now it's time for the AI agent to take over. Now, this is a helper agent. So what that means is it is going to work with human supervision. So you saw there that we had to click the start button, but worker agents are also available and they will operate autonomously. So what we're seeing here is now the AI agent's doing its work, and it's actually showing us its progress within the activity itself. So I don't have to launch the Now Assist panel. I don't have to launch any other in-product experiences. We're actually capturing the in-product AI experience within the activity card itself. And then we're going to wait for the next step. So you can see here that this helper agent asks, are you ready for us to update the work notes? I'm going to pause real quick. So as part of this AI agent's work, it is going to write something to the work notes of the case. It is asking if the human is authorizing the AI agent to proceed. And the cool thing about this is we haven't authored this UI experience. So the beauty of using an AI agent is they can surface dynamic experiences within the activity card itself. So if it needs the human to answer questions like a yes, no, it will surface these dynamic UIs with no additional configuration for the playbook author when they're designing this step. So let's continue on and we'll see what the agent does next. So it has done some research. It has looked at other cases. It has identified tasks that have been generated and worked and completed in order to resolve similar cases. And it has suggested that there are a list of tasks that it may need to complete in order to resolve this case. And the human, once again, is given the option to move forward with these, or you can see there I have some freedom to dismiss any of the recommended tasks. And that's it. So you can see here that the AI agent has not only done some research on behalf of the human, it has proposed case tasks and then has asked the human for feedback as far as whether we move forward with these case tasks or not. So I want to pause the demo there to talk about a couple things, like why is this important? Why does this matter? So agents are able to do things that take away some of the burden of the human agent. So you can have an AI agent do research or review large volumes of information in a short amount of time. Whereas, if a human had to do this previously, this could take hours potentially. I could be going through complaint cases for hours to determine what my set of tasks should be. AI agents can do this work for me in a couple of moments. And then I can focus on the really important things like interfacing with my client, ensuring that their needs are being met, that they're being heard, focusing on the human interaction, as opposed to some of the more menial tasks like research. So that is kind of the nuts and bolts of this. Once again, I just wanted to call out that this is available right now on our latest Zurich store release. So you can actually go to the App Store. If you're already on Zurich, look for the Process Automation Designer store app. Also grab the latest Playbook Experience Bundle store app. And we'd love to see you trying this out and giving us some feedback on how it overall goes for you. But we believe that there is huge value in taking AI agents and bringing them into your processes so that you can help accelerate completion of those processes. That's it for now. Kristy.
Yeah, sorry. I'm getting an echo too for some reason. Weird. So a couple questions. We had a couple in the chat, but I had a question of my own. For Playbooks, when you inject the AI agent, is there a specific way you need to configure the AI agent in order for it to be viewable in Playbooks, or will any of them work?
So when you're configuring an AI agent studio, there are a couple of settings. So if you're a helper agent, it's going to prompt for feedback. So it's going to stop. It's going to ask yes or no questions. It's going to ask you to review things. And then it's going to present these in-product experiences. So some of the configuration in AI Agent Studio is going to determine the user interaction when it comes to runtime. But as far as making use of, let's assume that the AI agent is already there. It's been configured. The process author just needs to know which AI agent am I going to make use of. So they really say, I know that at this step, I want to do some research. It's taking my human workforce far too long, so I have an AI agent for that. And then really you're saying, who does the AI agent operate on behalf of? And what are the outputs that I expect this agent to provide for me so that I can use them in subsequent steps? So we tried to make it very simplistic. in terms of setup and getting going. And we make use of all of the amazing features that are available when configuring an AI agent in AI Agent Studio.
Gotcha. Very cool. Okay. Couple questions from the chat.
Yeah,
The first is more general playbook question. Is there an option to start the playbook without any kind of record creation, update, schedule dependency? Is that possible with playbooks?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have I'll give you a couple of things, and we are talking, I'm going to mention some Australia features. So glad we showed the safe harbor notice. One of the features that we are releasing with Australia is called a standalone playbook. So if you have a questionnaire type of scenario where you're essentially going to prompt a user to answer questions, you're going to have them, the end result of completing the playbook may be a record creation. You can configure a standalone playbook, and a standalone playbook is going to not have that traditional parent record that's anchoring and triggering the execution. So that's one option. Behind the scenes, we're pointing to an out-of-the-box execution table that we're shipping out of the box. So the idea is that we're making it very simple to stand up playbooks that aren't tied to a traditional parent record in that sense. The second thing that comes to mind is we do have a programmatic way to launch a playbook. So we have a scriptable API through which, if you already have a record created and you want to implement some sort of workspace action, for example, your human workforce can click on a button and it will call this API and it will pass in the existing parent record and then kick off the playbook for that record. So hopefully that answers the question. Happy to tease it out further if I need to clarify.
Yeah, I think that was a good answer. One last question, and we're going to turn it over to Taylor to make sure we have time to cover everything. The one question came from LinkedIn about the run as field in a playbook, or as I think it was run as the AI agent maybe. The question was more about not being able to see the system administrator in the run as field due to accountability, but maybe there's just a question like, can we see system administrator, or why can't we see the system administrator in that?
Yeah, so that is a best practice from our security team. So we're working in lockstep with our security team to ensure that we're not giving any AI agents authority that they shouldn't have. So a safe start in our collective opinion is that you're going to run as a known user that is interacting with the playbook. So someone that, number one, has the authority to trigger this business process to run. We do have playbook launching permissions so that if you only want specific user groups to be able to launch specific playbooks, you have that control. And then secondly, anyone who then has authority to interact with the playbook. So we, after multiple reviews, have determined that the AI agents within a playbook can either act on behalf of the person that had the authority to trigger the playbook to run, or any person that is actively working on the playbook at this given moment.
Gotcha. Makes total sense. Totally get that. And there is a question in the chat about licensing. Playbooks are still a platform feature, right? But the AI agents are the additional cost, correct?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So playbooks themselves, exactly right, Kristy. They are a platform feature. So you are entitled to use them for any custom use cases that you're entitled to operate on the platform, as well as any applications that you're entitled to use. So if, for example, you're using financial services, you are entitled to trigger and run your playbooks off of any of the financial services tables that you're entitled to use. And absolutely correct on the second part. These Now Assist capabilities using AI agents in runtime come with Now Assist for platform entitlement. So there are Pro Plus level SKUs with the different applications that we offer. And so if you have access to Now Assist for platform, you have entitlement to use these AI capabilities for playbooks in runtime.
Excellent. I thought so, but I just want to make sure it always comes up in these types of conversations. So thank you for clarifying that.
Of course.
All right. Well, thank you, Jason. That was amazing. I can't wait to use an AI agent in my own playbooks as I'm building. Taylor, I think that means that you're up next with what's the topic that you're talking about today?
All right, I'm talking about nested playbooks, and I'll actually show a little bit of the standalone playbook because it's required for nested playbooks. So that'll kind of provide some context for one of those questions in the chat. I'm just starting off in Workflow Studio, same place that Jason kind of kicked us off, but I like to just show the full list of playbooks because I wanted to also just iterate that nested playbooks can be applied to any of the playbooks that you might already have in your library of playbooks. And it can be adjusted to be a parent playbook or a nested playbook. So anything I show after this can be adjusted to your existing playbooks, not just net new. A nested playbook is essentially a way for us to have a modular and composable process design that can be used in other places. This also will help us reduce maintenance time or duplication of processes and having to update shared logic in multiple different places, and then having consistency across teams. So before this feature, teams were having to create maybe similar steps across many different playbooks. When those steps are reused across those many playbooks, and then if they make one change to a couple of those different activities, they'll have to make them in all 12 parent playbooks that use those similar steps. Now we can kind of introduce this, for example, this approval escalation nested playbook, which might have a series of 4 steps that are repeated every single time you need to escalate an approval. And so instead of me adding these 4 activities to every playbook that requires it, I can just go ahead and nest that playbook directly within my process. And so to do that, you just need to select the playbook, and any eligible playbooks to nest are going to show in the activity picker, but as a playbook. And so a nested playbook just looks just like this, and will essentially render the activities that are applicable for that nested process within runtime, which I'll show everybody here in just a second. Again, that's just going to apply these 4 activities in place of wherever I nested that particular playbook. And to set it up, it's super easy. Again, I can do this on existing playbooks that I want to make children, or I can do it on new ones. The primary difference is that it does have to be a standalone playbook, so that non-record driven playbook that we were talking about a few minutes ago, and I have to allow it to be nestable. If those things are true, then we should be able to nest that within a larger parent, and then you'll see it here like this on the canvas. And one thing I really like about this as well is that once it's nested within the playbook experience, it's the user's none the wiser. They just see it as 4 additional steps that they have to do as part of their process. But it allows us, again, to reuse these 4 steps across many different work streams. But to the user, they're just flattened, and they see them as just 4 additional things that they have to do. And they can work through their process as they're used to today. And then once it's completed those 4 steps, then you're just back into the parent playbook to add that customer application, which if we come back here, that's just the 3rd step in our playbook. So super short and sweet, just wanted to be able to showcase how we would actually nest a smaller playbook into a parent playbook and then set up that nestable playbook as well.
Amazing. I can see this being super handy as people are building out playbooks. There's so many repeatable steps that I've even found myself making multiple times and been like, man, why can't I just use this? And I love how seamless it is in the visual too. That's really great. So nobody knows any different. It just looks like a regular playbook. So you would never know it's nested.
Yep.
All right.
We're super excited about this feature. I can't tell you how many customers I've spoken to who have a standard review and approval process. They don't want to have to rebuild it every time they drop it into a playbook. And now here we are. You can build these reusable sub processes and then make use of them wherever necessary across all of your process definitions. So it's a really cool day for us. One of the other things, we're not demoing it here today, but a plug for this. We're taking the CSM guided decision tree capability and we're migrating it to platform in Australia. So we essentially have feature parity with guided decision trees. So you'll be able to build these as playbooks going forward. And one of the features that's available with decision trees is the ability to nest children and children into parents. So if you've got complex decision tree scenarios, you'll now be able to build these as playbooks going forward. So we see lots of potential for, the cool things that people will do with nested playbooks.
Very cool. Laszlo is very excited about guided decision trees. Obviously, he's dropping some love in the chat there on guided decision trees. I was going to ask you if there's anything else, since we've seen both of the features that we want to demo today. Is there anything that you want to tease? And you've already kind of teased the guided decision trees. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
What's top of mind for you, Taylor? I'll give mine next.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think one of the things I'm excited about is just kind of the introduction of simplicity into a very complex product of playbooks, and just being able to simplify by nesting playbooks, but then also the standalone playbooks unlocks a lot of use cases like the guided decision trees. So I really love our focus back to simplicity and just making playbooks easier to use, easier to configure, and then kind of what you teased earlier, Jason, of being able to have these hybrid workflows where you have human in the loop and you have AI interjected at different stages of the playbook, but you're still able to maintain that predictability of a business process that you already have in place. And so I just think we're really moving in a cool direction of being able to kind of mirror or marry those two things across pretty complex business workflow. So super excited to see that in action.
Absolutely. And for me, I've got a couple things, but also on the AI front. So in one of our previous Creator Toolbox sessions, we did a demo of agentic playbooks. So this is taking form-based activities and injecting AI agents to be able to help humans complete these steps. We now show AI agents as steps within a process. The next thing that we're going to be working on is more atomic level AI capabilities. So now assist skills will be able to surface as specific steps within a playbook. So you don't have to necessarily inject an AI agent with an entire workflow behind it, and it's going to go through reasoning and executing of a plan. If you've got a very simplistic thing that you need AI to do, you'll now have a spectrum of tools that are available to you. So you could, for example, pass in a description of a case and have an AI skill that conducts a sentiment analysis. And if you need to treat negative sentiment differently than the rest of the potential sentiments, you could actually special handle negative sentiment cases based on a now assist skill conducting sentiment analysis. So that's really cool. I love the fact that we're providing our customers with a range of tools within the playbooks landscape. And then the other thing that's maybe not quite ready for prime time yet, but we're actively working on it and very excited, is conversational playbook. So I'm just going to drop that term out there and you all can do some thinking about it. And when we're ready to showcase something, we'll be back to talk about our vision for conversational playbooks.
Oh, we would love to have you on for that one for sure. That one sounds pretty exciting. Given the direction of everything, I think that's quite timely. So very cool. One last question that got dropped in the chat was a playbook. Can it be initiated from Next Experience UI, or does it have to be in a workspace?
So you do not have to just initiate it from a workspace. We integrated with portals, for example. So I know that that's not Next Experience, but there is a process for standing up a playbook inside a portal. So as long as your trigger record has been instantiated, you can display a playbook in a portal. You can just kick it off from a portal and then it's handed off to a team who responds to it in a workspace. You can also create the record in Core UI. We don't render playbooks out of the box in Core UI today, but I think that's a future topic as well. ServiceNow is looking at our future strategy for Core UI, Workspaces, all of the above. And so I think we're going to have an exciting story to tell in a little while now.
Excellent. Yeah. And Earl did drop a nugget of knowledge in the chat, like calling playbooks programmatically means you can call it from anywhere. So that's very true.
Yes.
You literally call them from anywhere. Maybe not render them everywhere, but you can call them from anywhere.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you both Taylor and Jason for showing these amazing new Playbook features. I just want to do a quick wrap up before we call it a stream. Remember devlink.sn/Australia for all things Developer Passport, any new episodes that are coming, any past episodes, you can restream those. But for today, what we covered 2 features. One, the ability to call an AI agent from a Playbook, and also the ability to now nest Playbooks. So this is your moment. If you want to screenshot this and keep this as a memento from our very first stream for the Developer Passport, now is your chance to do that. I'll give people a couple seconds to do that. All right. And next, I just want to really quickly throw out there, we love to hear your feedback about how you're using the platform. If you like it, we want you to tell your peers about it and talk about it. So I invite you to take our G2 survey and you get a chance, or you actually do receive a $25 Amazon gift card. Who doesn't love gift cards? So there is that. And of course, I have to talk about CreatorCon and Knowledge happening in Vegas, May 5th through the 7th. I'll be there. Jason, Taylor, you guys come in. I saw you're going to be at the booth.
Yes, we're going to have a team there ready to go.
Yes, can't wait. I'll see you guys there, and be sure to come and visit us in the CreatorCon space while you're there at Knowledge as well. And don't forget to upgrade your PDI so you can get your hands on some of these amazing new capabilities that are coming out with our Australia release. And with that, we're going to call it a stream. So thank you both, Jason and Taylor, for joining us today. Don't forget, folks in the audience, make sure you come back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week and see more of the amazing capabilities and ask your questions to our amazing product management staff. So again, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for
Bye.
having us.